Everyday Use is a story with a great deal of irony and a little bit of sadness. The characters include the mother, the two sisters, and one of the sisters' boyfriends. This excerpt focuses on the mom, Maggie, and Dee, the three who are related, who share a common past, but not a common interpretation of that past. The story shows how individuals have different values in life that can be represented by things such as a name that is passed down from generations, or a butter churn, or as this excerpt focuses on, handmade quilts. As the story begins, Mama and Maggie wait outside for Dee to arrive from the city where she has made it. Her visit brings to light the differences in their values. The characters see their past differently, as well as the possibility of a better or a different future, or the need to continue things as they are. I will wait for her in the yard that Maggie and I made clean and wavy yesterday. A yard like this is more comfortable than many may know. It's not just a yard. It's an extended living room where when the hard clay is swept clean as a floor and the fine sand is around the edges with irregular grooves. Anyone can come in and sit up and look through the elm trees and wait for the breezes that never come inside the house. Maggie will be nervous until her sister goes. She will sit hopelessly in corners, ashamed of the burn scars on her arms and legs, eyeing her sister with a mixture of awe and envy. She thinks that her sister has always had life handed to her in the palm of one hand, that no is a word that the world never learned to say to her. You've no doubt seen those TV shows where the child is reunited with mother and father and, as a surprise, and the mother and father come tottering in from backstage. Well, a pleasant surprise, of course. What would they do if parent and child came on stage to do nothing but curse each other out and argue? On TV, mother and child embrace and smile into each other's eyes. Sometimes the mother and father weep, and then the child wraps them in their arms and her arms and tells them that she never would have made it without their help. I have seen these programs. Sometimes I dream a dream where Dee and I are suddenly brought together on TV with a show such as this. Out of a dark, soft limousine, I'm ushered into a bright room with lots of people. There I meet a smiling, gray, sporty man like Johnny Carson, who shakes my hand and tells me what a fine girl I have. Then we are on stage, and Dee is embracing me with tears in her eyes. In real life, I'm a big boned woman with man hands. In the winter, I wear flannel nightgowns to bed and overalls during the day. I can kill and clean a hog like any man. My fat keeps me warm in zero weather. But of course, all this doesn't show on television. I am the way my daughter would want me to be. 100 pounds lighter, with my skin as pale as uncooked barley pancakes. My hair glistens in the bright lights. Johnny Carson has much to do to keep up with me and my quick and witty tongue. But that is a dream. That is a mistake. I know even before I wake up. Whoever knew a Johnson with a quick tongue? And who can even imagine me looking a man straight in the eye? But Dee, she always looked everyone in the eye. Hesitation was no part of her makeup. Dee's visit was full of moments when she laid claim to items in the house that she thought she would take home to decorate her home that would represent her heritage, which had been so misconstrued. The final blow was when she tried to leave the house with handmade quilts that were important to Maggie and Mama. "Mama," Dee said sweetly, "can I have these old quilts? I heard something fall in the kitchen and then the kitchen door slam. "Why don't you take one or two of the others?" I said. "No," said Dee. "I don't want those." She held the quilts close to her, stroking them in her arms. "Some of the pieces came from old clothes from Grandma," I said, moving up to touch the quilts. Dee moved back just enough that I couldn't reach them. They were already hers. They already belonged to her. "The truth is," I said, "I promised those to Maggie for when she marries." "Maggie can't appreciate these quilts," she said. "She'd probably be backward enough to put them up to everyday use." "I reckon she would," I said. "God knows I've been saving them long enough with nobody using them. I hope she will." I didn't want to bring up how I had offered a quilt to Dee when she went off to college. She thought they were old-fashioned, out of style. Maggie said, "Mama, she can have them. I can remember Grandma Dee without them." When I looked up at her like that, something hit me from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, just like when I'm in church and the Spirit of God hits me and I shout. I did something I'd never done before. I pulled Maggie close to me, drug her on into the room. I snatched those quilts right out of Dee's hands and threw them in Maggie's lap. Maggie just looked at me with her mouth wide open. Dee looked at me with hatred. "You just will not understand," she said. "The point is, these quilts. "Well," I said, stumped, "what would you do with them?" "Hang them." "Take one or two of the others," I said. But she turned without a word and walked out to the car. "You just don't understand," she said as Maggie and I made our way out to the car. She put on sunglasses that covered from the top of her nose to her chin. Maggie smiled, maybe at the sunglasses, but a real smile, not a scared one. After we watched the car dust settle, we just sat back and enjoyed. I asked Maggie to go in and get me a dip of snuff, and then the two of us just sat there enjoying until it was time to go in and go to bed.